Every year, Apple brings something new to its iPhone lineup, but not every release is groundbreaking. Some years are about refinement, some about polishing what already works, and others deliver the kind of reinvention that completely changes the game. The iPhone 17 Pro Max is set to be a solid device, no doubt, but early reports are already hinting that the real leap forward is coming just 1 year later. The iPhone 18 Pro Max, expected in 2026, could end up being the iPhone that makes the 17 Pro Max look outdated almost overnight. From whispers in the supply chain to insider reports and leaked prototypes, the upcoming iPhone 18 Pro Max is being described as a turning point in Apple's roadmap. For anyone on the fence about upgrading soon, the choice may become clear: hold off for the iPhone 18 Pro Max, because what's shaping up is nothing short of remarkable. The phone promises a mix of futuristic design changes, a camera system that borrows tricks from professional cameras, a next-generation processor, breakthrough memory upgrades, new wireless communication hardware, and even a battery that could finally solve one of the biggest iPhone complaints. To really understand why the iPhone 18 Pro Max could become the must-have iPhone of the decade, you need to look at how Apple designs its product roadmap. Apple rarely throws out the blueprint year after year. Instead, it cycles through steady refinements until it's ready to launch something big. We saw this in 2017 with the iPhone X, which introduced Face ID and OLED displays. We saw it again in 2020 with the iPhone 12's flat-edge design. Now, the stage is being set for another giant leap, and 2026 looks like the year Apple will push iPhone into uncharted territory. While the iPhone 18 Pro Max isn't expected to completely overhaul its exterior shell until Apple's 20th anniversary model in 2028, leaks suggest that the smaller details will matter more than ever. The most obvious design change will come to the front of the phone. Apple's dynamic island, the cutout that replaced the notch, has been a useful feature since it arrived. But many users complain it still eats into screen real estate. With the iPhone 18 Pro Max, reports suggest Apple will shrink the dynamic island significantly, either creating a slimmer version that's barely visible or moving toward under-display Face ID that leaves only a tiny punch-hole camera. Most analysts believe the slimmer dynamic island is the most likely option in 2026, but whichever route Apple takes, the effect is the same: more screen, more immersion, and a cleaner look. Imagine watching a movie, playing a game, or scrolling through your apps with nearly uninterrupted display space. That alone could be enough to make people skip the iPhone 17. But if there's one feature that gets people upgrading, it's the camera. Apple knows this, and with the iPhone 18 Pro Max, the company could deliver its most impressive photography upgrade in years. One of the most exciting leaks points to a variable aperture system on the main camera, similar to what's found on high-end DSLR and mirrorless cameras. Instead of a fixed aperture that struggles to balance bright sunlight and low-light scenes, the lens would physically adjust, narrowing in bright conditions to prevent blown-out highlights and widening in the dark to capture more detail. For everyday users, this translates into stunning night shots, cinematic depth in daylight, and less reliance on post-editing. The shift in camera sensors is just as intriguing. Apple has long partnered with Sony for its imaging hardware, but rumors suggest a move toward Samsung sensors in 2026. Samsung has quietly become a leader in areas like dynamic range and low-light performance, and switching suppliers could give Apple an edge against Android rivals. Pair this with the upcoming A20 processor's advanced image processing and machine learning capabilities, and the iPhone 18 Pro Max could set a new standard for smartphone photography. Expect sharper portraits, real-time scene adjustments, and video stabilization that rivals professional rigs. Under the hood, performance is where the iPhone 18 Pro Max could truly separate itself. Apple's custom silicon has been the benchmark for years, but the leap from a 3 nm to a 2 nm process in the A20 chip promises massive improvements. Smaller transistors mean more efficiency, faster performance, and greater multitasking ability. This isn't just another yearly bump, it could represent a generational shift, one that makes the iPhone 18 Pro Max the fastest consumer smartphone in the world. Adding to that is a long-awaited memory upgrade, 12 GB of high-bandwidth RAM. For years, Apple lagged behind some Android devices in raw memory, but with this jump, users can expect apps to stay open longer, seamless multitasking, and console-level gaming performance. Connectivity is also on the verge of a major change. Apple's in-house communication chip, rumored to be the C2, will replace the current C1, optimizing everything from 5G to Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6.0. This isn't just about speed, although faster downloads and smoother streaming are guaranteed. It's also about efficiency, reducing battery drain during heavy use. For users who rely on their phone for work, entertainment, or creative tasks, this could be one of the most practical upgrades. But perhaps the most exciting leap comes from battery technology. For years, Apple has been criticized for not offering the same battery life as some of its Android competitors. That may change in 2026 with the introduction of carbon-based battery cells. These cells not only charge faster but also degrade more slowly, extending the overall lifespan of the battery. Imagine going from near empty to almost full in a fraction of the time, and keeping that performance for years without the usual wear and tear. Combine this with the long-rumored reverse wireless charging, which could finally make its debut, and the iPhone 18 Pro Max starts to look like the complete package. Of course, Apple is unlikely to deviate from its traditional release cycle. All signs point to a September 2026 launch, right in line with the company's annual schedule. Pricing is also expected to remain consistent, with the Pro model starting around $1,249 in the US. While global pricing could fluctuate due to exchange rates and inflation, Apple appears committed to keeping its flagship devices within familiar ranges, at least for now. So why might you want to skip the iPhone 17? Because by most accounts, the 17 series will be a refinement year. It will bring some improvements, yes, but nothing as dramatic as what's being promised in the 18 Pro Max. If you're someone who upgrades every year, the 17 will still be worthwhile. But if you prefer to upgrade every 2 or 3 years, the smarter move may be to hold out until 2026. With a sleeker design, next-generation camera technology, faster silicon, more memory, improved wireless communication, and breakthrough battery tech, the iPhone 18 Pro Max isn't just an upgrade, it's shaping up to be a reinvention. Apple's roadmap is beginning to show a clear pattern. The iPhone 17 will carry the torch forward, but the iPhone 18 Pro Max could define the future of the smartphone for the second half of the decade. It's not just about making small improvements, it's about creating a device that feels like it belongs to the next era of technology. If you want the phone that truly feels like the future in your hands, waiting for the iPhone 18 Pro Max could be the smartest choice you make.